Hi guys, it is Aoife and I'm here to do my Irish Readathon TBR. So I have a few books here that I think I am going to read for the Irish Readathon, or at least I'm going to try and get read. That's a big try. I would love to get all of these read, but I don't know. It kind of just depends on how the days and the nights go. And yeah, I wanted to show you guys. So we have prompts. If you don't know what the Irish Readathon is, by the way, I will leave my announcement linked up above, but it is a readathon that I co-host with my friend Leanne over at Leanne Rose. And basically for the entire month of March, all we ask is people try and read as much Irish books as possible. You can read one book and to take part in this, there's no rules about how many books you have to read to take part. One of the prompts is also just to read a book with green on the cover. It doesn't necessarily have to be an Irish book, but it's just a nice accessible way for people to be able to take part in the readathon, even if they can't get their hands on any Irish books or Irish authors. So yeah, I'm going to go through the books I have chosen to read for the prompts, and yeah, I'm also going to go through some of the books that are on my list that I want to read and go through some of their first lines, because one of the prompts is about a great first line. So I'm going to go through some of them and see if any of them have a particularly good first line that I can use for this challenge, and also share those first lines with you in case you like them as well. So for the first prompt is obviously to read a book with green on the cover. There will probably naturally, like most years, there will be a lot of books that will probably end up having green on the cover. But one of them that I do have on my TBR cart, I think this is from last year, and I never got around to it, but I've read this author's first book and really enjoyed it. And that is Somebody Knows by Michelle McDonough. As you can see here, there's kind of a lake and a lot of fields and green in the cover. So this is perfect for this challenge, or for this prompt. And this one again is kind of a rural mystery suspense novel by Michelle McDonough. And in this one we're following a journalist called Cara Joyce, who finds out when her mother dies that she herself has a connection to this young woman who died years ago, and that woman's death was never solved. And I think it could be a disappearance and a murder. And then Cara ends up kind of investigating this, and she kind of becomes like this thing that she needs to solve. So it is Cara's quest to find out the truth reunites her with the powerful Casey family, but as her obsession begins to take over her life, she finds herself increasingly at odds with those around her. Who's behind Lucia's death, and what are they hiding, and what will Cara risk in the present to solve the mysteries of the past? So yeah, it sounds pretty intriguing. I did really enjoy Michelle McDonough's first novel, which I do actually have a video coming out soon where I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, because I'm going to recommend it as part of something. Yeah, I'm just interested to see what her new book is about, and how it will all get solved. So yeah, and another one to take off my TBR cart, which will be good. The next prompt is to read a book by an author who has a book coming out in 2026, because there's loads of Irish authors that have 2026 releases. You don't have to read a 2026 release for this. You can read one of their backlist novels. For me, I am going to read a 2026 release, and that is the Truth About Ruby Cooper by Liz Nugent. This is one that I do have on NetGalley, but maybe I'll get a physical copy at some point. And in this one, I think we are following two sisters who, I don't think they're in Ireland, I think they may be based in New York, and there's some sort of mystery about the sisters. And I think Liz Nugent does like family dynamics and kind of toxic relationships really well, and kind of hidden pasts and just twisty turny family secrets really well. So I feel like this is going to be one of those novels. I don't know too much about it, except it is about two sisters, and yeah, because I don't want to know too much about it, because I want the story to kind of unveil itself to me as I read it. But that is one of the books that I'm going to choose for this prompt, and yeah, I'm really excited to read it. The third prompt is to read an Irish book starting with one of the letters in Ireland. That's Ireland. And for this one, I've actually just realised I've made a mistake, because I was going to read Seaborn by Nuala O'Connor, because for some reason I thought this was called Nuala, but it's not. The author is Nuala O'Connor. I will try and read that this month, but obviously I'm not going to be able to choose that for this prompt now, so I'm going to have to do a jig around and try and figure out another book for this prompt. But this one is a historical novel set in the 1700s, and we're following a character who kind of becomes a bit of a like pirate. We're following a character called Anne Bonny, and basically she's kind of like a female pirate, and we're following her adventures, her passions, her marriage, and it is a thrilling and sensuous portrait of a young woman at a step of her time and place, but never her heart. And this is one I had meant to read last year, and I just didn't get around to it. So this is one I am going to read this year. But as I said, it actually doesn't fit for this prompt, so I'm going to have to figure out what I will read for this prompt. Number 4 is to read an Irish book with a great first line. I'm going to do that at the end because I'm going to go through some of the physical books I have here. I'm going to go through their first lines now and see if I can pick one. Maybe it'll be this one. And then the 5th prompt is to read an Irish book about family. So I'm actually going to choose, I'm going to go double up for this one, and I'm going to choose The Truth About Ruby Cooper by Liz Nugent for this one, because obviously that is about sisters, it's about family secrets, I think. Also, now that I think about it, I could also use this one because this seems to be about kind of like a family secret or like something related to family, but I probably need to read this to see how strong that family tie is, but I could potentially read that one as well. And then also listen to an Irish book on audio is the 6th prompt, and I have 2 for this because I think one of them I'll maybe be halfway through by the time, well, maybe not halfway through, it kind of depends on how many walks I get in this week, which is the last week of February. So I have Silver Wedding by Maeve Binchy, which is about a married couple who are about to celebrate their silver wedding, and it's about the I think the party the family's going to throw them. It's about their family, it's about their relationship, and very Maeve Binchy, kind of, it will probably span a lot of characters, how they're all related to each other, and just be really gentle and warm, and just really nice to listen to, because that's what Maeve Binchy is for me. She's just a really enjoyable read and listen, and kind of like feels like sitting down with a lovely big mug of tea, and that's what a Maeve Binchy audiobook or novel feels like to me. So that's what this is about, and that is also about family. And then the other one that I have is the 3rd book in Alice Taylor's Musgrove trilogy, which is House of Memories, and this one we are following a family in particular called the Phelan family. It is set in kind of the 60s in rural Ireland, and it's kind of, we're following this farming family and kind of ups and downs and tragedies and difficult relationships they have, a feud with a neighbour that they have. And it's kind of funny because it is one of these books that I've listened to the first 2 on audiobook, and I'm going to read the 3rd one on audiobook as well because my library has all of them. And it's one of these ones where there's some like bad things happen in it, like these really horrible characters in it, and there are some things, but overall the books are actually just like really nice to listen to, and they're just like really comforting, even though there are a couple of these like really kind of bad things that are implied or happen, because you know at the end things are going to work out, and things will kind of be sorted. So it's that kind of book, a little bit like Maeve Binchy books in a way, and I really, really want to read more Alice Taylor after reading the first 2 of the Musgrove books. Alice Taylor now is one of my Irish authors that I really, really want to read all of her backlist books, because I think she has loads of like kind of little books to read, and kind of some non-fiction books as well, which I would love to read. I know my dad is a really big fan of her, as well as my gran, so she's someone who I want to prioritise as well to read more of, because she's a great Irish author. So I will stop nattering now, and I will actually go back to the 4th prompt about the great first line, and we will see if any of these books have a great first line that we can choose from. So the first book is Somebody Knows. So the first line for this is, let me see. Well, here's the thing. We have a kind of newspaper snippet, but I don't think we can count that as the first line. So let me see. The first line for this is in the prologue, and it is: "It was the bike that caught his eye first, the rusted frame of an old rally chopper, just like the one that had stood propped against the side of the house at home for years." Okay. It's not a brilliant first line, but it is an intriguing first line. The next one I'm going to try is Seaborn by Nuala O'Connor. Not Nuala by Nuala O'Connor, which is like what my tired brain thought it was. Okay, so this one has a prologue, and the first line is: "Up, up, up I sail, thrust from mother's arms, I soar skyward, sand-specked toes leading, wind basting my bare torso." That is an impressive first line. I really like that first line. This is a contender, for sure. Okay, another one I have here is Show Me Where It Hurts by Claire Gleason. This one, best, or the debut novel of the year in the Irish Book Awards, which is why I picked it up. I decided I would try and do a bit of a tradition, the same way I I always try and pick up a couple of the Women's Prize long list. I decided I would want to try, and if it intrigued me, if I hadn't read it already, I would try and pick up one of the novels of the year for the Irish Book Awards at the end, like for Christmas, like a little Christmas present to myself. And also I want to try and start buying the Irish Children's Book of the Year for Clodagh, which I did this year. Christmas just gone, which was nice. So she has a nice little picture book. She's still young for it, but I have read it to her a couple of times. And yeah, so this one, the first line is here, and it's a not a very good first line. It is, "Are they asleep?" That's it. That's the first line. I don't think this is going to be it. And then I have 3 other books here that I'm going to read. 2 of these are ones I've read before. They're rereads. I want to reread both of these this year. One of them is Wild Houses, not Horses, like I keep thinking it is, by Colin Barr. I read this last Irish Readathon last March, and I loved it, and I just keep thinking about it, and I just really want to read it again, even though it's only been a year since I read it, which is a really good sign. So the first, a loyalty card for Hodges Figgis. I didn't know that was in here. So the first line for this one is, Dev Hendrick was lying in the dark on the sofa, laptop propped on his belly, asleep or almost asleep, earbuds bleeding white noise into his ears when his phone buzzed 3 times on the coffee table and stopped. It's okay. It's not great. I don't think I would choose that for a great first line. And then another one I really want to read is Snowflake by Louise Nealon. I absolutely love this book. She has a book coming out this year. So I would, this could be the read a book by an author with a 2026 release as well. And then the first line for this one is, my Uncle Billy lives in a caravan in a field at the back of my house. Don't think I love that one either. And then the last one we have is The Maker of Swans by Porrick O'Donnell. This book has lived on my shelf for a very long time. It has shown up on countless Irish Readathon TBRs and has never yet been read. Will this be the year? I don't know. We will see. So let me see. This has number 1. Okay. First line. In the dream there is nothing. Oh, that was it. I was about to go on. In the dream there is nothing, nothing, and then fire. But the first line is actually, in the dream there is nothing. I feel like the first line is good. In the dream there's nothing, nothing, and then fire. But if in the dream there is nothing isn't as good. So this is okay. But I actually think the clear winner is Seaborn by Nuala O'Connor. So that's great. I did bring it with me for the prompts. For the wrong prompt, but I can use it for one of the other ones, which is now. And then just to remind you, the first line of this one is, up, up, up I sail, thrust from mother's arms, I soar skyward, sand-specked toes leading, wind basting my bare torso. Yeah, that's just a great first line. I love that. So this is my choice for a great first line. So those are some of the books that I'm reading. I will have to surprise you during the month to see what book I do end up choosing for the Ireland prompt, seeing as I messed that up for this video, but sure, it wouldn't be a video from me if I didn't mess up somewhere. So there we go. Yeah, please let me know if you guys are going to read any of these books, what you guys have chosen. Please do share your great first lines, particularly on the Discord, if you are on the Discord, or in the comments down below for people to check out. Because I think that is one that would be a bit of a harder prompt, but I love that prompt because I think it really gets you thinking, and it gets you kind of excited about like what could be the choice for that one. So yeah, please share your comments, share your first lines down below, what you're reading. Would love to know, and I'll see you guys again next time for a Irish Readathon video. We're only a week away. We're almost here. Best time of the reading year for me. I'm so excited. So excited to dive into all these books, and I'll see you again for that.